I've been back in the community for 4.5 years. I had the wonderful opportunity to come back to my hometown. And when I came home, I knew that I wanted to be very involved, or as involved as I could be, with women's leadership issues. So I did research, I joined a bunch of women-centric organizations. I became very involved with the Women in Leadership Development conference that's run through SBDC. Was on the steering committee for several years, brought a good friend of mine, Grace Killalay, as one of the keynotes. And it's just such a wonderful gathering of women in the community. I've also been very involved with the Athena activities in the community. I am on the Athena governing body, have been for 4 years. I have been a panel coordinator for 2 panels. I am on the Women's Leadership Luncheon Committee, and I am also on the Athena Awards Steering Committee. So that's, even though I'm a member of other organizations, that's where I've done a lot of my volunteer work. With Athena, working with women who are entrepreneurs, who are building our economic base in a positive way, that are contributing in so many ways to the community, to be involved with that circle of women in the community has been very, very enriching for me. I'm not young, so this spans a lot of time. A lot of people that have really touched my life in a positive way. Obviously my mom, and really with my mom I'd have to say my parents. I have 2 older brothers. Never were their expectations any lower for me than they were for my brothers. I was expected to be accomplished in the same way they had their expectations for my brothers. So I would say I was very fortunate in that way. One of my first jobs out of college was with a woman-owned business, which back then was much more unusual than it is today. And it happened that all of the employees were women there. And I don't think it was by intent, it was just the way that it happened. So here I am working in really my first professional long-term employment in a unique environment, and Rita Buffalano, who is my immediate supervisor, and Judy McCardle, who was the owner of the business, really, it wasn't so much what they said, it was what they expected of me and allowed me to do, and what they encouraged me to do. And they encouraged me to grow, they encouraged me to take risk opportunities, stretch opportunities, and when I failed, it was a learning experience. When I was living in Seoul, South Korea, I was a consultant for MBC, which is Manhwa Broadcasting Corporation, and I worked with management. I did management training, and I had one woman because it was mainly male, and Ms. Kim looked at me as her mentor, but I would have to say that she really was my mentor because I saw the courage and her ability to go against the odds and be a leader for other women that would come after her. I think be authentic, be true to yourself, be willing to put yourself out there. I also think it's important for women to be much more cognizant and thoughtful about building their network and their relationships, because when you need a network, it's not when you start building it. You need to have that network in place, and even if you don't have a crisis where you need the network, that network lifts you up, and it makes you a better person, and it makes really the whole community a richer community. And I am very encouraged with what I am seeing in terms of women in Erie starting to really build that network in our community. And I think women are very important to the future of Erie. And I think the more women leaders we have, the better community we're going to have. I just hope that I continue to be fortunate to have opportunities to contribute and to volunteer. I think my work at United Way is wonderful, and I think we're going into a really neat direction with our role in the community. So I love that, but beyond that, I want to continue to be involved with really helping raise awareness and around the importance of women leadership in our community. I think that Erie, coming from DC, a metropolitan area where there might have been a little bit ahead of us in that area, I want to see Erie get there, and I want to see Erie to be the successful, thriving, vibrant community it can be, and it won't be without women's leadership.